Hello, Queens. Welcome back to my channel. It's BetheBeat here. And who do you see? Style Me Be, my sister, my best friend. She's going to let me borrow her face today for the beginning phases of my channel, having client tutorials. So we're going to get started with brows. I'm using Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the shade Soft Brown. I'm just going to fill in her brows with her natural shape and kind of, add a little thickness to it. And I'm going to carve them out with my concealer of choice, which today was Fenty Beauty, I believe. I filmed this video a little while ago, so I honestly don't remember which concealer I used, but I think it was Fenty Beauty concealer. But I know on the eyes I'm using Juvia's Place palettes today. I used like a combination of 3 different palettes to get the look I was going for. I did pull inspo from the MUA Alex on Instagram. She's Cynthia Bailey's makeup artist, and she did a confessional look on the Real Housewives of Atlanta that I fell in love with. It was like super pink and kind of shimmery in the center, so I'm just, pulling some inspo from that. It's not going to be exactly like it, but, that's where I got the idea. Now I'm just going to go into a darker kind of corally pink to kind of build up some intensity there and sort of like a gradient ombre effect. So it's not just like, bam, pink in your face, but actually I kind of want it bam, pink in your face. Anyway, I'm just going to create that gradient effect there, fading the lighter pink into the darker pink and so on and so forth. Going to the third Juvia's Place palette, I'm going to use this darker magenta to really add some depth there. The look that the MUA Alex did was super magenta. Like, I honestly should have just went in with this shade first if I wanted it to be exactly like that one. But what else? We just pulling inspo. We're not completely copying. So I'm just going to continue to build up the intensity and gradient effect, add some more depth. And Brooklyn has Style Me Be Brooklyn, whatever you want to call her. She has a great eye shape for this type of look. I'm just really packing the colors into her crease. And we're going to pop the shimmer on the lid. She has a really defined eye space. Great for a little cut crease action, which we'll probably do on the next tutorial that I use her face for. Come on, blend, get into it. Now I'm just going to continue to build up this magenta shade. I want this shade to really stand out and pop out and show out all of that. So I'm just going to keep building it up. I want it to really stand out. Now I'm just going to begin to start the halo process, which you can just pop the shimmery shades in the center. I didn't actually cut her crease out to do this. I didn't want it to be a super harsh line. I just wanted it to kind of be a gradient effect. So I'm just beginning to stamp on the shimmery shade with a brush. Now to help make these colors really stand out, you can wet the brush with something like Fix Plus spray, some type of like face mist to make the shadows stick onto the eye a little bit better. Or you can use concealer first to kind of make the shadows stick to the concealer instead of just the matte eyeshadows. You want to give it something to adhere to. In this instance, I just use Fix Plus to dampen the eyeshadow. And now with this pink shade, I'm actually going to mix these two and apply them on her lid. I'm going to layer several glittery shades because I want it to have a lot of dimension. And sometimes even applying the shadow with your finger helps it to really have the good payoff with the shimmer. Now I'm just going to go back in with a clean blender brush between that one and the magenta shade and just blend back and forth. You want to make sure your crease is blended to perfection and the gradient is nice and smooth. Once again, just retouching the shimmery shades. Adding a little more. I really wanted to pop in the center. I wanted to brighten it up a little bit. When you're using shimmers, you really want to try to add a lot of dimension, which is why you can switch between different shimmery shades. You can, like I said, use a Fix Plus to really make some of them stand out. You really want to make them all pop. Now that we have her eyes squared away, we're going to get started on skin. I'm using a combination of Juvia's Place I Am Magic Foundation and the Estee Lauder Maximum Double Wear Foundation. The reason I'm mixing them is to balance out the color of the two foundations. The Juvia's Place foundation is a tad bit too dark, and the Estee Lauder foundation was a little bit too light. So what I'm going to do is apply the darker foundation on the outer perimeter of her face, and I'm going to apply the Estee Lauder foundation on the center to just balance out the shades and bring light to the center of her face. When your foundations are off balance in color, you can either mix it the way I did, or you can physically like stir up the foundation and make your own custom shade if you need to. Sometimes I do that too, but in this instance, it wasn't that off, so I just had to, kind of highlight and contour with the two shades. But when you're mixing foundations, you want to make sure that you are blending those lines to perfection. I'm just continuously buffing and kind of pressing the foundation into her skin to make sure it melts seamlessly. You don't want to be able to tell where you cut your foundation off. You also want to blend down into your neck so your foundation just blends and you don't see any lines along your jaw. Blend, 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 blend and buff, blend and buff. The color ended up being perfect though after I mixed it. It matches her skin really well. Now I'm going to go in for highlighting, and I'm using that same Fenty concealer that I used for her eyebrow. I'm just going to kind of press that underneath her eyes just to kind of stamp it on and get the concealer laid down, and then I'm going to go into blending later. Typically, I stamp the concealer kind of well below the eye, and then I blend upward and downward. There's no need of slapping all the concealer right by the lash line and having to blend all the way down, if that makes sense. You want to kind of start in the middle of the highlighted section. And you just want to blend as close to the lash line as possible. This is also going to act as an eyeshadow base for her lower lash line as well. Just like you base your eyelid, you also need to base your lower lash line for your eyeshadow at the bottom. Once her concealer is blended, I always like to go back over with the foundation brush to just continuously blend. You really want to melt that concealer into the foundation. I do not like to see a highlight stand out too hard. I want the lines to blend seamlessly. So now I'm going to go into contour, and this concealer, this is also a Fenty concealer. No, this is a Morphe concealer. Sorry. I'm using a Morphe concealer to contour her face. I'm just going to apply that in the hollows of her cheek, along her hairline, and just blend into her highlight. And you just want to, like I said, just continue to blend and buff. I just kind of like to kind of flick upwards into her highlight so it just fades nicely. I don't like you to be able to really see where I stamped the contour. She's laughing so hard because my niece and my son were having like a screaming match. Like my niece was crying because she was genuinely upset. And my son was like, you're not finna outcry me. And so he started screaming back. But I mean, you're gonna see in a second. I'm gonna let y'all hear how crazy they were acting. Oh my god. Oh. I told you to get the camera. My son said, "You are not about to outscream me." But it turned into a game. My niece wasn't upset anymore. They were laughing and joking. But anyway, now I'm going to kind of blend under her contour to clean it up a bit. If you ever put too much contour, you can always go back in with some lighter concealer and clean it up a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. and also brighten up her under eye a little bit more because I want her to be, you know, beat to the gods. So I'm going to give her a little bit more highlight and also blend underneath her contour to clean it up a little bit. So now that I'm done highlighting, I'm just going to go with the foundation brush and just continue to blend everything together. And then I'm going to set her under eye with Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I'm not going to bake her skin. I'm just going to kind of press the powder into her highlight. I've already completed her eyeshadow, so I don't really need to bake for protection against fallout. I'm just going to make sure it's set really nicely so it doesn't crease. I'm also going to take a little bit of translucent powder and dust and sweep it under her contour just to, like I said, clean things up a little bit and to make sure all concealer is set and in place on her face. Now that we are set, we're just going to take a little bit of bronzer. It's actually Mineralized Skin Finish by MAC in probably dark golden. I'm just going to warm her skin up a little bit and set her contour all at the same time. You just want to go over with a soft powder. I like to use Mineralized Skin Finish, or I use MAC Studio Fix powder, or you can use just any bronzer of your choice, or you can use a darker translucent setting powder just to make sure the contour is set and it's not going to smudge. So I'm going in with more translucent powder and just kind of blending those harsh lines, making sure I dust over everything to blend it seamlessly. Now, translucent powder is also a good eraser somewhat. Maybe not eraser, but it's a good blur. It'll blur some harsh lines if you need to. Now going in with an Extra Dimension blush by MAC, I'm just going to pop some color on her cheeks. It was like a nice pinky peach color just to add a little color. I don't want her blush to be super pink, but she did need some type of color on the skin. So then I'm going to highlight her skin next using this Fenty Duo. I'm just going to add a lot of glow because this look is giving me all type of glowy vibes. It's popping. It doesn't look like a fall look really, but I mean, it's beautiful no matter what time of year this is. And we're just gonna glow it up. You want to add your favorite highlighter of choice to all the highest points of your client's face. I do tip of the nose, bridge of the nose, cheeks, all of that above the lip, and a little bit on the chin. Now I'm gonna complete her lower lash line with a little bit of shadow just to pretty much match her lid space. So I'm gonna go in with that darker magenta pink, and I added a little pop of purple just to give a little contrast. And now lining her lips, I'm using the lip liner called Plum by MAC just to give her a little bit of color on the lips. I'm just going to line lightly and then pop a gloss in the center. Now, I don't like my clients to have that harsh line of lip liner versus gloss on their lips, so I always take the lip liner again and just kind of blend into the gloss or the lipstick just to have more of a gradient effect. I don't like any harsh liner. I don't like that. So I'm just going to continue to blend between the lip gloss and the liner. And you can also use a brush or a lip wand or whatever you feel comfortable with. Or you can have the client to kind of like blot their lips together, whatever you see fit. I'm just going to go between the two just to get a really nice gradient effect. Now the lips are complete. I'm just going to go back in with a little bit more highlighter. You can never have too much highlighter. I'm sorry. Just glow. If you ain't doing nothing else, just please glow, okay? It's so easy to glow. It's free to glow. Glow from within. But I'm just gonna add some more, get her real popping here. We acting like she actually going somewhere. We ain't do nothing but go home after this and probably get into bed. But anyway, I'm just gonna make sure she's real glowy. Yes. Get them, sus. This is beat, beat. Can y'all please get into this beat? Like, look at this eye. I'm also gonna go over with a little eyebrow tint and gel. I was just experimenting with this. I don't typically use brow gels, but this was in her kit, and I was like, let me try this out. And I just wanted to see if I liked it. But anyway, we're gonna pop on some lashes, and y'all, Brooklyn Beauty lashes coming January 2020. Be there or be square, okay? My sis is coming out with her own lash line. So support. I'll drop a link in the bio when it's available. But anyway, this is the completed look. Look at the lashes. You see it. Brooklyn Beauty Lashes coming January 2020 by Style Me Be herself. But anyway, makeup by me. Sis looks flawless. Sis is beat. Sis is glam. Sis is ready for whatever. Okay? And she's serving me a little face. Get them, sis. Like I said, she does have her own YouTube channel, so don't forget to like and subscribe and share to both of our channels. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys like client tutorials. Comment below if you do. If you don't, I don't know. Let me know. Yeah, so we out. Beats and love. Oh yeah, let me serve a little bit too. Thank you so much for watching.